everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. It's the start of another week. Lots of cool things coming up. We are back to normal. We've done our last week. We did some live stuff and some post-Gen Con stuff. More live stuff's coming this week, but we're back to reviews and all kinds of cool things. So the biggest thing, though, is I want you to save the date. August 27th, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which I believe is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is the registration for Dice Tower West. Dice Tower West was our first year last year. It was very successful. We had a great time. We're increasing attendance, but it will probably sell out. It's going to be fantastic. We got some neat special guests that we'll be announcing soon as time goes by. If you're in Las Vegas and you want to have a fantastic time of gaming, you'll want to come to Dice Tower West. Registration, as I said, August 27th, and you can find it at dicetowerwest.com. So, that being said, it's a fun week. I'm excited to get going here. Lots of different things to start talking about. So, let's start with things I found on the internet. Okay, well, first of all, I found a link on livingdice.com where someone talked about the physical effort they spent at Gen Con. They talked about how much sleep they got, how many steps they took, and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of an interesting look at Gen Con as each day goes by. You can see that going down. You really got to... A con is a very physical effort. In fact, I found that now that I'm trying to walk 10,000 steps every day, that a con did not wear me out as much, at least in that regard. But I just thought it was some interesting data points. Mind Sports Olympiad is happening on August 18th to the 26th. You can see a link to that. I found it interesting here. Chess diving, where people dive under the water to make chess moves. So events like that and things like that, you can check that out. Will Wheaton is suing Legendary / Geek and Sundry over the payouts for Titansgrave series. So I guess, I don't really know. I don't have any beef in this suit or what's happening. You can go read the information about that. But I'm wondering, like Geek and Sundry and board gaming and such, where will that end up at some point? I've seen some really good stuff from them lately. It doesn't seem to have as big of a presence, but we'll have to see what happens in the future. I found a thread on Reddit about 3D Ultimate Tic Tac Toe. Tic Tac Toe, most boring game ever? Maybe not. Try this version out. No Pun Included did a review of Pipeline, so you can see that link there. And there's a Facebook group with a map for board game cafes around the world. So if you have a board game cafe and you want to add it to this one, in fact, we need to put ours, Mac and Chess. That's here in Miami. We need to add that one to the list. It's not there. But it's a cool way to find out as you're traveling, where are these board game cafes? Meeple Mountain wrote, in defense of Monopoly, why a toxic attitude is bad for the hobby. So about people who trash Monopoly and how that doesn't help people. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in Tom Thinks. And then Nick Bentley talked about pitching games. He said 99% of people who pitch games do a pretty bad job at it. So if you're pitching a game to a publisher, here is how to do so. And it's a really good article with a lot of fantastic tips, and I recommend you check it out. Everything I mentioned here has its links in the description below. If you have something you'd like me to feature here, email me at tom@dicetower.com.
Randy and Ellen, we game together.
It's your turn.
Ooh.
Hi guys, I'm Randy.
I'm Ellen. Welcome to We Game Together.
Today we're talking about cartographers, which we played at
Gen Con. And
Let's talk about Gen Con.
We just want to say thank you to
Yes.
every single individual person that came up
Yes.
to us and said hello on the street, in the halls, at the booth, out to eat. Like, it was so special. That's what I wanted this convention to be about for us, and it was.
Met so many
So
people
mission accomplished.
at so many different places.
So many awesome people.
Thank you for all the pictures. Sorry to
Truly.
those that didn't like all the pictures, but we're not that sorry.
Not that sorry.
We do not have a copy of Cartographers.
Right.
We played the Brothers Murph copy.
I believe it was their copy, and we also
I believe
played
so.
with-
They were teaching it, so I
they were
assume it's
teaching
theirs.
it. They could have stole it. Sometimes they do that.
Well, that's true.
Also, Matthew Jude, sweetest guy, and then a handful of other people who I don't know your names. I'm sorry.
We had fun with you, though.
We had so much fun with you. You know who you are.
Cartographers is a flip and write game.
My favorite.
You know, there's so many different names for it, but this one is fairly unique, actually. There's 4 different seasons. There's 4 different cards that score. 2 of each card will score in every given round, so like A and B, then B and C, etc. So each card scores twice throughout the game.
I really like that, being able to look ahead. And monsters get flipped, so you're taking your board, handing it to the next person. They put the monsters on your board, and then you have to try to patch up.
That's one of my favorite parts of it, because it gives that interaction between people that you don't normally get in a roll and write or a flip and write game. A lot of the times
fun.
Those are very solo experiences. In fact, you can just play them solo straight out.
Right.
So it gives that nice little element. The pieces, the blocks around the monsters are worth minus points. You want to try to fill those in. You have to allocate resources towards those that take away from you trying to score other points.
Really clever little game. I quite enjoy it.
It was
we might
quite
have to add
good.
it to this ridiculousness.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
I'm torn on getting it or not, but we'll see.
Right.
Cartographers, check it out. Check us out over here. Check out the picture of the day. We also have a vlog of Gen Con coming up in the next couple weeks.
It's our first one ever made, so be nice.
Yes. If it stinks, we do apologize. If it's good, you're welcome.
If it stinks, I don't apologize because it was fun.
It was fun, one way or the other. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Just Missed It segment here on Board Game Breakfast. This is a segment where I talk about games that either have just missed being really, really good, or have just missed being really, really great, or have just missed, not being kept in a collection. Anyway, what we're talking about today is a game that I feel like has just missed being really, really great because of one tiny little thing. Now, the tiny little thing here in Jaws is not the fact that you are a shark trying to kill a bunch of people and destroy the orca, a boat. The one little thing that has kept Jaws from being just an amazing game and just missed my seal of excellence is the component quality. The component quality in this really pulls this game down, because I've only played it, I think, 3 times at most, and some of the tokens are already wearing off, and you can see the wear on the tokens after just 3 plays, and that's really unfortunate. Not all of the components are like that. Some of them are wood components, where there's a boat and there's a few meeples in the game, and those are really nice, but the cardboard tokens, the swimmers, and the tokens that you use in the second act to determine where the shark can resurface, all of those tokens are all wearing off really, really fast. And that's very unfortunate for such a good game. You're almost going to have to plan ahead. If you plan on picking up this game, which I do recommend, by the way, you're going to have to get some replacement components for some of the things that come in the box, because they just aren't that good at all. And they are going to wear out after just a few plays. So that's it for Just Missed It. This Jaws could have got my seal of excellence easily, because I did enjoy the game that much. But it just missed it because of those components and the quality with which they were made. So there you have it. That's Just Missed It. Let's get back to the rest of your breakfast.
So this week from the Dice Tower, we're doing a couple things. We're going to be doing a top 10 list on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to be doing live testing Tuesday, tomorrow, and Board Game Breakfast, and just different things are going to be going live this week. Lots of reviews coming. The Funkoverse game, I'll be reviewing that this week. I'm also, one of the things that I try to do here in the Dice Tower is I have several of the big games from Gen Con. I'll be reviewing a few of those this week. But I also want to review smaller games, so there'll be a couple kid games and other things. And I never want to lose sight of these smaller games amongst the big, exciting releases that come out, because I think everything should be taken a look at. So lots of cool reviews. Maybe not all good games, but interesting things to talk about coming this week. Mandy and Suzanne are posting a podcast tomorrow on the Dice Tower podcast, and lots of different podcasts, of course, on our network. I think pretty much that's it for what's coming out this week. Let's move on.
Hi, we're Board Game Opinions. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Steve.
I'm Amy.
I'm Mark. And this is our speed quiz, where contestants are attempting to guess as many games as they can in a particular category. And this week's category is games with a TV or movie tie-in, some themed with a TV or movie in some way. And we're going to start with Mark. Off you go.
Star Wars Rebellion.
Yes.
X-Wing.
Yes.
Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Yes.
Star Wars Armada.
Yes.
Star Trek Ascendancy.
Yes.
Star Wars Outer Rim.
No.
Damn it, not
Continue.
Star Wars The Living Card Game.
Yes.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
Firefly.
Yes. Yeah.
War of the Ring.
No.
What, Lord of the Rings, The War of the Ring is not a film tie-in?
I think it's a book rather than a...
Game of Thrones.
No. Not high enough, I think.
That was my...
Maybe that meant as a book thing.
It was a
again.
book initially, I suppose.
Yeah,
Or it might be a separate
suppose.
category on Board Game Geek.
This only makes it more difficult.
There's some more Star Wars
Stranger
games.
Things, the Echo card game.
No. I'll open up to the floor at this point. There's a few IPs.
Star Trek Encounters? Is that one? Have we had that?
No, that's not there.
Star Wars Carcassonne.
No.
Star Wars Timeline.
No. They've got to be in the top 1,000.
Got any more TV shows or movies?
Other than
Sorry,
sci-fi
Star
shows.
Wars.
XCOM, the board game. Is that?
No,
It's a
it's
video
not on
game.
this.
Yeah, I've thought of a lot of video game ones and I just can't nail down the tally ones.
Okay, and that's time up. Give me a second to tot up the scores and we'll see how they did. Alright, the scores are in. Steve got 4, Amy got 3, and Mark got 3 points, because a couple hadn't played there. I haven't played Star Trek Ascendancy or Imperial Assault, actually. I really need to get that one played. Other things you could have had there were Dream Factory, Disney Villainous, Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle, King of Tokyo, Legendary Encounters, the Predator or Alien one, Sons of Anarchy, Spartacus, loads of Star Trek and Star Wars games. The Godfather was another one you could have, and Thunderbirds, of course. Were there any that you got that they didn't? We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes. I'm always a fan of Star Trek more than Star Wars, and when I heard about this game, it got my attention. Star Trek Conflict in the Neutral Zone. And that's conflict with a K at the end. Coming up. Hi, Stella from Meeple University. Star Trek Conflict was designed by Mike Elliott, where you are either Federation or Klingon Empire trying to collect resources, points, or attack other ships. How? By flicking your ships to the right target. That's right, it is a dexterity game. You flick your ship into certain resource gathering planet, trying to make it stay and there so you get the point or resource if your ship's still there at the start of your next turn. You or your opponent gets a chance to also attack other team's ships by flicking special attack ships. You can place an asteroid in space, represented by these grey cubes, certain length away from your ship, to try to hinder your opponents from attacking your ship. With gem resources, you can buy other better ships that have special power to make your attack or resource gathering more powerful. For example here, USS Dauntless Resource Gathering Ship has the Shield Up upgrade, so you may put a finger on the ship during an opponent's turn, so when you have reached the resource or point collecting planet, it pretty much stays there. The game plays 2 to 4 players. Voyager and Enterprise are two of my favorite Star Trek ships, and I'm glad that the game has both of them as ships I can use. So that's Star Trek Conflict in the Neutral Zone. Thanks for watching. We are Meeple University on YouTube. See you next time.
So what did I add to the Dice Star Library this week? A lot of stuff. So we have Ubongo Extreme, but if we're going to add that, we better add Ubongo. Innovation. Now this says Innovation Echoes, but this is going to be Innovation, the base game, plus Echoes, so that's pretty cool. Grifter's Nexus from Indie Boards and Cards, and Slide Quest. So I think these are going to be a lot of fun for people to play. Not only that, we're adding Bang to the game. No, that's not Bang, that's Bang Dodge City. Well, that's High Noon. That's Gold Rush. That's Armed and Dangerous. That's the Wild West Show. But all that is inside this box here, so we're adding Bang with everything to the library. And we're adding Into the Black Forest from Green Couch Games and Deckscape. Test time. Also Deckscape, 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 and Deckscape. Deckscapes are great little escape room games, so I'm looking forward to trying those, or putting those in the library. Then we have Ticket to Ride, the 15th anniversary, going in the library. The deluxe version of Copenhagen. Access and Allies Zombies. So all those are going in the library. Then we have Blackstone Fortress. So Sam said we should put this one in, so I guess we will. Then Welcome To. We have all the expansions. We'll be going into our Welcome To. So all those, we've laminated those. Bang the Duel goes in the library. Then we have Pastali. Fantastic new game from Pandasaurus. Dead Men's Cabal. And finally, Zombicide Invader. You think that's a lot? Wait till you see what we add next week. That's what we added to the library this week.
Howdy folks, welcome to By the Numbers. My name is Hunter Thomason from the Family Showdown. This week on By the Numbers, we're continuing my Through the Years series, where we're looking at the most popular game on Board Game Geek by year, starting with 1970, this week, 1978. Taking a look at the top 5, we see that the number 1 game from 1978 is Junta. Junta is a different kind of war game. This one has bluffing, negotiation, assassination, backstabbing, all sorts of tomfoolery. All wrapped in a 4-hour package that plays best with 7 people. Taking a look at the ratings of the games, we see lots of 7s, some 6s and 8s for an overall rating of 6.7. Looking at the weight, comes in at a 2.85, not too heavy for a 4-hour war game with fun. And doing some research on this, I came across a bunch of pictures over on Board Game Geek that had people dressing up, making an event of it. This sounds like my kind of war game. I like dressing up. I like doing silly stuff. Someone needs to play this game with me. Me, you, 5 of your best friends, playing a 4-hour war game with silliness. Sounds like an afternoon I want to be a part of. So I know you're saying, yet another war game. Will it ever end? Will 1979 be our savior? Will it be a non-war game? One can hope.
Hi, I'm Jordan, and I'm here at the World Board Game Championships, here in the main tournament room. A lot of gaming going on here. I am going to go over to the open gaming. Let's go over there.
So we just played Fleet the Dice game. This is the second time I played it. I played it with Colby and Steve from Board Game Weekenders, also on Board Game Breakfast.
It's like Gone Shone Clever, but it actually has a theme to it.
Yeah, themed Gone Shone Clever makes it one of the best roll and writes that I've played, I think.
And we hadn't heard anything about it until a lot of the Dice Tower folks talked about it, so we're really glad that Jordan showed it to us.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan.
See, here we got some games going on over here.
That's out for like me, but I don't need to. I'm going to pay $3.
Folks playing Scythe, Lost Cities. Alright, let's see if I can get a game played.
Alright, we just finished Copenhagen. Colby taught it to me. He was pretty spot on when he said it was just like Ticket to Ride of Tetris games. So, yeah. Colby, what did you think of our play? He crushed us. It wasn't even close.
I think it's unique because you don't necessarily have to fill in every row. I think the acrylic pieces really help this game.
Yeah, this is the deluxe one, which has the plastic tiles, which seems really cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, on to the next one.
Yep.
All right, we just played Ohanami. I thought it was pretty similar to the game, but it had card drafting, which was a cool twist on it. So, all right.
Over here we have these tournament boards, like for this Marco Polo, and they had all of the different players and their scores. Look at how many tournaments we have that were going on this week. It's crazy. All right, next year I might have to get in on something here. We'll have to see. All right, till next time, I'm Jordan. Thanks.
When I tell people about board games, one of the things that is often found is hey, is it like Monopoly? Everyone knows Monopoly. And so lately on the internet, I've seen this trend of defending Monopoly. And that's fine. Like Monopoly, hate Monopoly. Monopoly is certainly a watershed thing. And I've talked in the past about how if I walk by someone's table and I'm like, what kind of garbage game is that? That's not a positive thing. It's definitely not a positive thing for the hobby to go around and criticize people's games and make them feel bad about playing it. And I think that I mentioned earlier, Meeple Mountains in defense of Monopoly, why a toxic attitude is bad for the hobby. I think that there's something to be said for that, for sure. That I shouldn't go around and constantly be like, what, you're playing Munchkin? Oh, you're playing Flux? Oh, you play that? Whatever it might be. At the same time, I don't think it's a bad thing to say that a game is bad. I think that's a very legitimate thing to do. So, I might not go around and trash Monopoly. You're like, I love Monopoly. Well, Monopoly's terrible, and get all snooty about it. But I think it's fairly reasonable to say Monopoly is, to me, a bad game. And I think it's also reasonable for me to look at the big picture and say, for all the people who might have fond memories of Monopoly, there's a lot of times where I've taught people a game or introduced them to games and they're like, are these like Monopoly? And I go, no, not really. Oh, good. Because not everyone likes Monopoly. Monopoly has some things that a lot of people don't like. A lot of people don't like player elimination. A lot of people don't like the, hey, I'm winning, or that the Monopoly game can go on a really long time. Yes, if you play with the correct rules, it makes the game better for sure. And yes, there are things to mitigate it, but at the end of the day, there's still a ton of luck in the game. There's still turn a chance card over and get a tiny amount of money, and then the next person rolls lands a park place. It's not a very well-balanced game. There's a lot of problems with the game that I've outlined in other places. And I think I can say that sort of thing without being like, oh, you're hitting on Monopoly. Because the fact of the matter is I want to show people better games. Now, so let's take the burger analogy. This one's used oft times. McDonald's burgers are probably the most eaten burgers in the world. Maybe Burger King or something like that. But fast food burgers, are they the best burgers? Not by a long shot. You know, I got a burger joint here in town. We went to a really great burger place when we were in Indianapolis, where you eat it and you're like, wow, this is a burger. And that's okay. It would be okay if someone said, hey, you want a McDonald's burger? No. And that's really the truth of it. If someone offers me a McDonald's burger, I'd be like, no, I don't really like those kind of burgers. I might not tell my kids that. My kids think McDonald's burgers are fine. They're little kids. They like that sort of thing. And there's a lot of adults who like it too. That's fine. But that's okay for me to say, that's not a good burger for you. It's really not that good. You don't really want to know what goes in that burger. It's not a kind of burger that I would promote at all. I'm going to promote this better burger instead. And that's the way it is with board games. I don't have to put down necessarily these other board games that I don't think are good, but I can say they're bad. Saying they're bad is not elitist. It's not toxic. It's not that. It can be toxic if I'm that board game store owner and you come in, you're like, I would like to purchase this. And you're like, you are? No. Someone wants to play that? Great. But if someone comes to me and says, hey, Tom, let's play Monopoly, and I say, I don't really like Monopoly that much. I would probably rather prefer to play this. Would you like to play this instead? That's okay. It's okay to promote things, and it's okay for reviewers and other people to say that we don't like certain games. And I think we can swing the anvil too far, the needle too far that direction. It definitely is the case that we can say, this is awful, this is terrible, and be jerks and no one likes us. And I don't want that in the hobby, and that's certainly something I had to work on. But at the same time, on the other hand, we can call a spade a spade. I can say, well, Monopoly and life and these games, I understand that, but there are so many other great games to play and teach them. Because if I can't say something's better than something else, well, that takes half the fun out of the discussion anyway. As long as we can do it with joy, as long as we can do it with care about what the other person thinks. But if someone comes to me and says, what do you think of Monopoly? I need to be able to tell them. I don't know that it's always a toxic thing, and in fact sometimes can uplift and help people find better games.
Look! I made a logo! Greetings and welcome to the Mega Meeple. I am Thomas Grogan. Yeah, everybody's a critic. You all know the shtick. If you've done anything on Kickstarter at any time, you see a Kickstarter, oh, that looks interesting. You go to the Kickstarter page, you read through it, and say, oh, okay, yeah, I'd like to back that, and you pledge. And then all of a sudden, they start adding things. And I'm not talking about expansions. I'm talking about all these add-ons, which may or may not be required to actually enjoy the core original concept of the game. But by the time if you're one of these FOMOs You add all these things up, and it's like sometimes 2 or 3 times the cost of the original pledge that you signed on for. I don't know how many of you actually play video games, but they have these, it's called microtransactions. It's a real contested thing in the video gaming world. It's been compared to almost like online gambling. Why not just put the core game out, a complete game in and of itself, and then just put all these add-ons into like an expansion 6 months down the road? Because if the campaign is successful, people are going to buy the expansions. I don't know. That's just me. What do I know? But I think add-ons, especially in Kickstarter, are the microtransactions of board games. Changed my mind. So if you're going to find out more about the Mega Meeple, just go to the website, blah, 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 yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And I will see you next time.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Now, it's not often you get a game from your shelf of shame or opportunity finally played. Now, it had been on there for 2 years, but I've finally been able to play Battlestar Galactica, the board game. It's a hidden role game, so think Secret Hitler, The Resistance, Avalon, that style of game, where you might be a good guy, a human, or a bad guy, a Cylon. But now think it lasts for 3 hours. What keeps the game interesting is that partway through, you're going to get a second card. You might start off as a Cylon and be working undercover, trying to sort of screw the humans over and wipe them out. At the same time, you might be a sleeper agent and approximately halfway through the game, become a Cylon. Other things that make this interesting are that you're constantly, as a human, battling against things like fuel running out, the morale of the fleet, and there's 4 things that you're really trying not to let hit 0, otherwise you lose. You don't want to be boarded by the Cylons. You don't want the whole of Galactica destroyed. And the best bit of the game is something called the Destiny deck. What makes this hidden role game work for 3 hours long is this Destiny deck, because whenever you do a skill check, 2 cards from that deck get put in. So even if everyone's a human at the beginning, which could actually happen, well, there's some bad cards in this skill check. And I don't trust you. Anyway, phenomenal game. If you love the series, it's a must. It's out of print, but if you can try and get it, even if it's on the cheap eBay, whatever, it's well worth a play. Anyway, that's Battlestar Galactica, the board game, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.
Alrighty, well that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm excited. Dice Tower Retreat is in a few weeks. All these great games that I've been adding to the library we're going to get to play. Oh, it's going to be super fantastic. Dice Tower West, registration is going live for that in a few weeks. Don't forget to come to that if you're on the West Coast at all. It is a fantastic convention. We hope you enjoy that. But enough about conventions. It's now just time to play some games. So join us tomorrow. We'll do some more live game testing. Going to see some fun games, or we hope. We'll find out when we play them. But I'll have a fun time, whether or not the game is fun. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast on the Dice Tower.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff, in stock, at CoolStuffInc.com.